I waited to play The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for almost 4 years. And was the wait worth it? Well, yeah. Now, this review will be based off of me playing the game since day one of the Switch's launch, and it will also show my personal experience with the game, which will be getting many Korok seeds, beating every shrine, and doing the story multiple times. So sit back and relax while I review The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. First of all, let's talk about the game's controls. Now, several of the controls have been changed from past Zelda games. First of all, you can jump and climb now, which takes a little time to get used to. And the jump button is on X, which is a little weird, but once you play for about a couple hours, you start to get used to it. Also, the attack button has changed, and it's now Y instead of B, and again, it takes a little time to get used to. But once you get used to it, the controls feel so fluent and they feel amazing. So I give the controls of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild an A+. Now let's talk about the story of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. My god, are we gonna be here for a while. In Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, the story is not center stage like in previous Zelda games. Instead, the exploration is more center stage, but we'll talk about exploration later. In the story, Link wakes up after a 100-year slumber and finds Hyrule in complete ruins. So you must go into the four corners of the world and take control of the four divine beasts, and then recontrol them and give control back to the champions who have passed in the past 100 years. So then, once you've controlled all four of them, you go to Ganon and you take on Calamity Ganon, you seal him away once and for all, and that is the story of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The story is not as dynamic as many other Zelda games, but it is still a good story nonetheless. But it could need some work. But the DLC that comes out later this year, called The Champion's Ballad, might fix some more stuff by including more backstory on the champions. Another story is the 18 Memories. Link must travel across the entire world and find 18 memories in which he remembers events that happened before his 100-year slumber. And these add much more story and allow more development on the champions and Zelda. And also it shows how the Calamity Ganon struck Hyrule. And these add an insane amount of story, and I give the story an A-. As with any game review, let's talk about gameplay. Most of the gameplay in Breath of the Wild lies with you exploring the entire landmass that is Hyrule. Another portion of gameplay is the four dungeons, which are the four divine beasts. And most of the dungeons follow the same structure, which is rotate the dungeon, activate 5 terminals, fight the blight. That's pretty simple. But there's also mini dungeons called shrines, and there's 120 of them, and I beat them all. And they're mini puzzles, and some of them are very hard, and some of them require this very specific circumstances to activate, and that adds 120 more dungeons, which is crazy. Also, you can sneak up on enemy camps and get treasure, and this gameplay really keeps the game fresh and doesn't make it redundant. But there are some portions once you beat all the dungeons, beat Hyrule Castle, where you kind of don't know what you're doing, but when you explore, you always know what you're doing. So, if that makes any sense. So, I give gameplay an A+. Now, let's discuss music. Now, I'm not crazy about the music in Breath of the Wild. This may be a bias, but I prefer Koji Kondo to do Zelda music. But I did give the music in this game a chance, and beside of the trailer theme, that's the only theme I like. And I feel like the reason for this is because the music was very dynamic and thematic, which is that if you're in danger, there's gonna be danger music, and it shifts between like if you're in a snowy area but you're in danger at the same time. And I don't like that. I want just a standard track. When I go into Kakariko Village in Ocarina of Time, I expect to hear the Kakariko Village theme. But in Breath of the Wild, you'd go to the same place, and you'll hear different music, and it's not really recognizable. And just for that, I'd give music a B+. Don't get me wrong, the music's good and all, I just don't like how music was used. With that, let's average in our final score for Breath of the Wild. I give Breath of the Wild an A-. I know this game has received many perfect reviews, but as I said in my top 5, I don't think any game is perfect and there's always room for an improvement. And for this game, I think the improvement needs to be done with the music. But this game is still amazing, and it even earned a spot in the top 5 list, as you probably saw. So, this game is still amazing. Don't get me wrong, it just needs improvement, and that's with every game. And that's my opinion of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, I'm gonna add a new segment to this show. Is this game worth your money? And I think, yes, you should definitely pick up Breath of the Wild. And now, that's about it. So, don't forget to be awesome and stay funky, my friends.